Hello and very warm welcome to this edition of the Mutual Fund Eye. My name is Vandita Shivle and you are watching me. We have two queries today which we would be addressing. One is from Karun Prasanna and the other is coming from Gaurav Dikshit. So let's take Karun's query first. He's asking that he wants to invest in stocks of other countries, foreign equities, and especially he wants to invest in US based stocks like Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, Apple. Okay, and what kind of account is required for trading? Alright, these are two different questions because I think these are not very much interconnected because trading is a different thing and here you're asking about investments. But still I'll tell you, for trading you need a trading account or a demat account, and there are a lot of brokers available for that. You have discount brokers, you have securities like you have HDFC Securities, you have ICICI Securities, you have Axis Securities, via which you could do some kind of trading that you're looking at. But when it comes to investments, there are a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself, and it's a very wise way of investment when you want to invest in different economies and when you really want to diversify your portfolio. So we'll understand various parts before investing in equities, and you have clearly mentioned that you want to invest in stocks of other countries but you're not sure how to invest. So we'll try to address that first. See, there are a couple of things you need to understand before you get an answer to your question. First, why do you want to invest? Second, how do you invest? Third, what's the cost associated? Fourth, what's the taxation impact? Fifth, how much you could invest? What's the maximum amount that you could invest in foreign equities? What is an alternative way to it? For example, one is investing directly into foreign equities, and secondly, it's what is the other means of investment if you want to invest in foreign equities but it's not directly, and what should a retail investor do? So first things first, why anyone would want to invest in economies of different countries, or even if it's US just in particular or any other economy? The reason is diversification. You invest in different economies for diversification. See, you know that Indian markets are attractive, but why not invest in certain companies which has good growth potential, good earnings potential, like Apple, Netflix, Microsoft? These are really good companies, and why not to invest in these companies? So obviously any Indian investor, because we all watch movies on Netflix, we watch movies on Amazon, we do know how important is Microsoft. So Apple phone we do use. So there are various things that you do, right? You would want to invest. So that's one of the reasons you want to diversify and get the benefits by becoming their shareholder, take a part of their shares and be a part of such a good company. So that's one of the things why you want to invest, and obviously you diversify the risk of your overall portfolio. That's number one. Number two, how you do it is also very is a very, very important thing. The various ways by you can do. If you want to do it directly, then like HDFC Securities, ICICI Securities and Axis Securities, they have tie-ups with certain banks in those in different countries. For example, I've marked it up. So if it's HDFC Securities, they have a tie-up with HDFC Securities Limited and Stockhill, and this is based in New York. So they have the tie-up. So if you have an account with HDFC Securities, they can help you out with that. In fact, Axis Securities and ICICI Securities, if you're dealing with these accounts, if you are trading and you have a demat account with these firms, then what you could do is they have a association and a tie-up with Saxo Bank that's based in Denmark, so you can do it via that. So that's number one. Then there are certain, if you don't want to do it in this manner, then there are a lot of international brokers as well. For example, you have Interactive Brokers, that's one company. You have Vested, you have DriveWell. These are certain international brokers who can do that thing for you. There are a couple of things that you need to make sure. I would still recommend you, Karun, that if you want to invest directly, go with the tie-up strategy, because these firms very well. HDFC Securities you can trust, ICICI Securities you can trust, Axis Securities you can trust. So these are good a way to go forward. Just remember one thing, whenever in India, when you are investing in stocks, they are in your name in demat account. But when it comes to US, the stocks are held by the third party custodian in the name of broker. So always remember this point, it's very, very important. Let's now talk about the cost associated. See, why people do not do it in this manner is the kind of cost associated. So obviously transaction cost, we all know there would be a transaction cost that you would be charged, and also there would be a exchange rate cost here, because you are investing in Indian rupee but the currency of that country is different. So these two costs would be involved here. Now talking about the taxation impact, it's done in the same way like a debt account is managed, like your debt securities are taxed. So if it is within 3 years, less than 3 years, then of course short term capital gains, which is according to the tax slab. And if it is over 3 years, if the investment is over 3 years, then it will be like any kind of long-term tax gains that you get on your debt securities. How you do that is 20% plus indexation benefits. Indexation benefits I'm always in favor, because inflation gets added to it, so the amount that you are taxed on is reduced. So that's why I always encourage people to stay little more than 3 years if your the goals that you're looking for are not an immediate goal, right? So that's number 4, I would say, number 4 or 5. Now let's talk about what is the alternate way of investing. See, this is one way. You can invest directly via tie-ups, via these international brokers. But isn't it better to invest via mutual funds? I mean, it's not that I'm trying to tell you something, some rocket science here, but we all know that the feeder funds, their access, the index funds, mutual funds have, certain mutual fund companies, AMCs, they have come up with certain funds which has investments in these companies, in these equities already, some equity based funds. For example, Parag Parekh long-term equity fund, these, then you have Franklin feeder fund, a lot of funds and certain companies, certain AMCs which are already investing in these foreign equities. So, to get more diversification and to reduce the risk, I would still recommend you that let a professional handle it, and the professional here would be the fund manager who would understand it in a better way. So, let the fund manager take care of it and invest via mutual fund if you want to do investments in, these kind of foreign equities. That's my recommendation to you. And there's nothing wrong in that. You would still get the benefits out of it. There are a lot of other funds. If you are interested in that, we can make a separate video as well. But what should a retail investor do now, like you? See, you need to do your research, which particular companies you want to get into. And if you're not ready to take that kind of risk, because it is risky when you invest in other companies, so it's always better that if it's a small kind of investment, then I would say that stick with mutual funds, because let the fund manager handle your portfolio. Here also, when you do it via mutual fund, your exchange rate costs, is reduced, that is gone. And plus the expense ratio is particularly lower than the transaction costs that you have to pay when you do it via direct stocks, right? Now you'll say that, but I'll get more benefit over there. Obviously, the more risk you take, the more reward you get. But I would say take a balanced approach here when it comes to risk reward scenario, because there's a lot of uncertainty in the market and you never know when the tables, they get turned. So be very careful on that front, and I feel that this is how you should be investing. If you ask me what's the maximum amount that you could invest around 2.5 lakh dollar, which comes to around 1.75 crore rupees, and this is according to RBI. They have set this amount, and this is according to, I think, the LRS scheme. I'm not sure, yeah, liberalized remittance scheme. So according to that, it is it is managed, and there's certain there's a procedure involved in it, so you need to be extremely careful when you deal with those things. And I think you should sit with the CA before you go ahead, right? A tax expert and of course a proper advisor who can guide you. So that's about it. I think it would have given you some idea on how you could invest, right, Karun? All the very best with your investments, and I really hope that your query was well answered. Let's move on to our next query that's coming from Gaurav Dikshit. Now his question is, he has given a brief history. His age is 29 years old. He's 29 years old. He's unmarried and he gets around 50,000 in hand. That's his salary. His monthly expenses are around 15,000 to 18,000 rupees. And he doesn't have a life insurance and investments in particular. So now your savings are almost around 30,000 per month, and you were thinking to invest the entire amount in stock markets by taking positional trades. And this is not for long-term investments. You've already mentioned that. You have a good knowledge on technical analysis. Another option is that you could invest some amount in MFs for long-term or some in stock market. Okay. He wants to understand what he could do. His immediate expenditure is marriage after 1 year. Hence, he needs to accumulate at least 2 lakhs from his end. That's his question. All right, Gaurav. Before I give you an answer to your second part, right? I would want you to understand certain things. You know, it's very good that you're planning to invest around 30,000 every month, I would say, right? That's what you've mentioned, that you want to invest around 30,000 every month. So now you are thinking what you should be doing. See, Gaurav, positional trading is really good. I'm not against it, and if you have good technical knowledge, if you can do technical analysis, it's a good way. But your immediate goal is just a year ahead, and there are two kinds of goals involved. One is definite goal and one is indefinite goal. Indefinite goal is like long-term goals that you keep for yourself, and they can be manipulated, but certain goals cannot be changed. They have to be done, right? And this goal, you're very sure that you need a certain amount, so you cannot take that kind of risk, Gaurav, right? So it's very important that you understand that and invest in securities, invest in things which have low risk, instruments which are low risk. Maybe the rewards won't be that great that you could get in positional trading. A lot of people invest in they do trading just because of that. But let me tell you, everything has its own, rewards and punishment, right? We all know positional trading is a kind of trading, for short-term goals or whatever you do for. But there is immense amount of risk involved when you do these kind of tradings. For people who do not understand, you have asked me to talk in Hindi, so I would do that for you as well, Gaurav. बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि आप ये समझो कि पोजिशनल ट्रेडिंग सबके लिए नहीं होती है. अगर आप बहुत धुरंधर भी हो, प्लीज़ डोंट गेट मी रॉन्ग इफ़ माई प्रोनाउंसिएशन ऑफ हिंदी वर्ड्स इज़ नॉट फाइन, बट अगर आप बहुत ग्रेट प्लेयर भी नहीं हो इसमें, मतलब आप समझते हो अच्छी तरह ट्रेडिंग को, स्टिल आपसे बहुत गलतियाँ हो सकती हैं, मेरा ये मतलब है. अब फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्ज़ाम्पल देती हूँ. क्या होता है, गलतियाँ क्या होती है पोजिशनल ट्रेडिंग में, इज़ दैट आपको पता है कि इसमें सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज और एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज का बहुत मेन रोल होता है, राइट? तो आप किसी पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक को जब चूज़ करते हो, उसमें आप ट्रेडिंग करते हो, तो आप जो पोजीशंस उसमें सेट करते हो वो इन दोनों को देख कर करते हो, राइट? जो 200 सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज होता है या 200 एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज होता है. बहुत बार डिस्पाइट ऑफ बहुत सारे रूल्स होते हैं इसके, अगर ये दोनों से नीचे आ जाता है कोई अमाउंट, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर एक पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक है, से TCS, राइट? TCS अगर एक पर्टिकुलर उसका प्राइस है अभी, लेकिन उसका 200 SMA यानी सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज अगर कोई उससे ज़्यादा है, एंड जो एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज है वो भी उसके करेंट प्राइस से ज़्यादा है, एंड वो जो अगर आप उसको ओवर द टाइम देखो, अगर वो उसको रिक्लेम नहीं कर पा रहा है, देन यू शुड मूव आउट ऑफ इट, राइट? you should exit from it, and that is the main that's the strategy that you use. But कितने लोग हैं कि वो गिर भी जाता है तो भी रहते हैं. Most of the people have lost their money in Yes Bank because of positional trading, because of not understanding the proper rules of positional trading. This is very important, Gaurav, and that is why I say please avoid such things. आप fundamental analysis उसमें भी लगाने लगते हो बहुत ज़्यादा, and ये rule को आप waive off कर देते हो. Generally what happens is you select certain, when you're investing, you do a lot of fundamental analysis. You know that certain stocks are really good and you want to keep it for a long time, right? For example, TCS, Reliance, etc., etc., Reliance Industries. So you want to keep that intact. Now, even if the 200-day moving average, simple moving average or exponential moving average, that's higher than the normal price, even it's not changing and it's going down and down again, you still do not exit. And that is why you make losses when you are doing positional trading, because certain rules you do not follow. When it's trading, it's trading. Right, so that is why people make a lot of losses. They say that still I would believe this company, and that's why you would have noticed, I don't know, I can still give you example. Yes Bank, we all know that what has happened. 20th August 2018, it was at 404 rupees. It was at its high. Now what we noticed was 7th September 2018, it came back, it got down to 323, wherein the 200-day simple moving average was 336 rupees, which now this was lesser, and 200-day exponential moving average, that was at 342 rupees. So it was less, and still people did not exit. Why they did not exit? We all know that the new CEO came in place and certain things were there, so there were a lot of recommendations. But still, I would say, had you moved out at that place, it would have been better, right? In fact, I know a lot of people would now say that in November this price was 146, but I would say again after CEO in 2019 they did reclaim the average. But just look at the graph then, right? Just reclaiming is not important. You need to see certain things. You need to look at the pattern, and understanding that pattern, doing that kind of technical analysis is not that simple, Gaurav. So I would say for your immediate and short term goals, positional trading, completely investing your amount in that is not a wise idea. You can do like little bit of investments because you like to do trading, then why not? Certain amounts, if 3 to 4,000, you can do some kind of trials and error kind of thing. But ultimately, because you need money for your marriage, so I would still say आपको थोड़ा पैसा अपने marriage के लिए चाहिए. तो आप उसमें क्या करेंगे? आप उसमें शॉर्ट टर्म फंड्स जहाँ पे लिक्विडिटी ज़्यादा है, रिस्क कम है, उसमें आप इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लिक्विड फंड्स हो गए, मनी मार्केट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, राइट, अप टू 91 डेज, आप उसमें इन्वेस्ट करोगे. आप आरडी रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट्स में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, आप गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट करोगे, जिसमें आपको पता है कि ज़्यादा रिस्क नहीं है, मे बी उतना रिवॉर्ड नहीं है, बट इतना अमाउंट मैं एक्यूमुलेट कर सकता हूँ, राइट. आप शॉर्ट टर्म डेट फंड्स में करोगे, वो मैं आपको सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो में बताऊंगी, क्योंकि मुझे अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि आपके पास कुछ लमसम अमाउंट है जो आप इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो, या इट्स जस्ट दिस 30,000 एवरी मंथ दैट यू वांट टू इन्वेस्ट, और बिकॉज दिस सर्टन थिंग्स इन अ माइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन, या आपके कुछ लॉन्गर गोल्स भी हैं जो आपने मुझे अभी तक बताए नहीं है. बट फॉर इमीडिएट गोल्स, पोजिशनल ट्रेडिंग इज नॉट अ वाइज डिसीजन, गौरव, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. पोजिशनल ट्रेडिंग इज extremely risky. There are a lot of rules involved in it, and if you do not follow them, you lose. I will never recommend anyone who has certain short-term goals to go for positional trading. It's a no from my side, Gaurav. But yes, because you like doing it, certain amount you can do certain trading, that's okay, but not the entire amount for sure. We have a lot of other ways, but now tell me your long-term goals as well, so that I can, nicely tell you. I can do the asset allocation in the right way, right? I really hope this first part of the query was clear, Gaurav, and all the very best with your investments. Your investments are, these are not just for playing around. It's very important. This is your hard-earned money. So please keep that thing in your mind when you are doing any kind of trading. See, I always say it's better to invest for longer term than to just play around with your money. You do not have such ample money, no one has that kind of money except if you are, you have handsome money, that's different. But everyone has certain goals in mind, so use it wisely, invest in right securities, invest in the right way of investment is important, right asset allocation is important, setting up the right goals is important, and setting up your risk in your mind is very important, right? And that's how you deal with such uncertainties. That's about it. And on that note, all the very best with your queries, and I hope it was well answered. Bye bye.